I swear, it's like they understand I'm about to record this and they start mowing. It's like they know it's gotten too quiet. For anyone who is just tuning in today, welcome to the lawnmower serenading us. But we're also Sugar Cookie Marketing, and this is the Baking It Down. Guys, nothing but effective marketing strategies here. Nothing but quality content. Okay, Heather, if someone's just tuning in for the first time, what are they in for? Typically on Tuesday, even though today is Thursday, typically on Tuesdays, we'll upload the podcast that kind of takes us through an amazing intro sequence. Obviously, you're hearing it right now with nice mowing sounds in the background. The marketing minutes, which we kind of focus more on a marketing strategy. Then Corrie will like to beat the desk a couple times and people will be like, is somebody knocking? Then we go to the business of baking, which is more of like a mental thing or a business structure, not so much this is marketing. It's more of a broad stroke there. Then we have a course, and Corrie is going to talk about that a little bit. And then voicemails, which we have 3 voicemails. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you.
And then some group stuff, because we are an extension of the Sugar Cookie Marketing group on Facebook, which is how many people?
Almost 25,400.
Oh, that is those
52.
Just kidding. Then we go to our wonderful sponsors, and after that, our mailbag, which I feel like Blue's Clues.
All right, so Heather is actually I am actually super excited about this segment.
Actually, the lawnmower is also actually excited. I have a ton of orders I need to get done today. My mind is at home and in the kitchen.
Heather's taking us through a wonderful segment in the Marketing Minutes today.
Okay.
And it deals with this surprise she gave. I have to tell you about this surprise. On our way down to Cookie Con, Heather said, "Hey, can you hand me my sunglasses?" I said, "Yeah, where are they?" And she's like, "In the glove box." And then I picked them out and she's like, "No, those aren't mine." I said, "What?" And she's like, "They're yours."
I have a gift of giving gifts. Okay, so back on that. I have one true vice, I think, in this world.
Heather is addicted to buying Ray-Ban sunglasses. I'm not sure why.
If you're rolling your eyes, great. I'm rolling my eyes too. You just can't see them in the back of my sunglasses. But like the Ray-Ban aviators, Tom Cruise style.
Heather has
maybe it's my closest I can get to him, right?
Heather is obsessed with Tom Cruise and his glasses, but Heather has owned a pair of Ray-Bans for like since the womb. I think she came out with a pair on.
I came out super cool, and I'm gonna leave super cool. Okay, so obviously Ray-Ban sunglasses make absolutely 0 sense. This is so loud. Let me just turn this down. Keep talking.
Oh, okay. Ray-Bans make 0 sense.
So Ray-Ban sunglasses do make 0 sense, right? Because I could go to Walmart right now and protect my eyeballs from the sun for $5.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I, like a truly just absolutely insane person, turn around and spend $200 on sunglasses. And I know people are like, oh my goodness, did she just say $200? My bank account did.
Heather brought a pair of Ray-Bans to the dinner table the other day and was like, look, if it's not etched, here. Okay,
so an insane person. Yeah. Like if I truly wanted to protect my eyeballs, I'd spend $5 at Walmart. And if I wanted to splurge, I'd get a $10 polarized pair from Walmart and just protect my eyes. The Walmart brand versus the Ray-Bans brand, they don't work any better than each other, right? They're just protecting your eyes from the sun.
Absolutely.
Really, mine's protecting my ego. But if anything, the Ray-Ban aviators are so fragile that they're like even less effectively protecting my eyeballs.
You to sit on them.
Yeah, I had this pair. So Rob, my ex-boyfriend, got in a motorcycle accident. So I put on my stuff. I know. Well, I needed the backstory, but somebody stepped on him. Some good Samaritan. And I said, "Excuse me." No, they stepped on him and then threw him into a bag because it was a motorcycle accident. But then I Googled somebody that will put them back together. They'll bend them back together. It was $50.
You're already $120 off from just getting a new pair.
Right. So that's just outrageous. They're super outrageous. If you even like sneeze in the wrong direction while you're wearing them, it will bend.
The little nose piece pops off.
Yeah. But yeah, I bought Corrie the pair. And the interesting psychological test is when I gave them to her, I said, "Hey, just so you know, I didn't even get them on sale."
Right.
As if it made the gift that much more because I paid full price. Right. Which I think is super weird. So, okay, now I got to confess, right? We have in the group, people are always like, intellectual property. I am a thief. There is, on TikTok, you get on and people say, hey, there's this website that you can buy knockoffs. But here's the thing. The alleged thing about this website is China isn't held to these copyright laws, so they're claiming, hey, we actually produce these objects, things for main retailers, big brands, and we're selling to you, the consumer, at cost. We're cutting out the middleman, and something that should be maybe $500, we're going to give to you for $100, and something that should be $100, we're going to give to you for $20.
So Heather, it was a gamble if she was going to get them because obviously no tracking
international, no tracking, international transaction fee, like the whole 9 yards of I'm never going to see this. But
Heather bought
a pair of allegedly knockoff or real, I don't know, Ray-Bans
for
$12. $12. So they finally arrived 5 weeks. They arrived with more official paperwork than the actual Ray-Bans that I bought from Sunglasses. Everything. There's 6 ways to see if a Ray-Ban pair of sunglasses is authentic. It's 2 inscriptions on the
eyeglasses or the rim.
Whatever you call that. Why do I not know glasses structures?
The glasses stick. The one that sticks behind
that touches your ear. Then the nose piece has Ray-Ban logo on it. Then both lenses, one has it etched and one has it printed, the Ray-Ban insignia and the Ray-Ban word. And then on the top of the bridge is another Ray-Ban. I think it's spelled out Luxottica or something like that. So there's 6 points. This one had all 6 points. It had the official Ray-Ban case. It came in a Ray-Ban box. It came with the Ray-Ban little wipey glassy thing. And it came with the paperwork, the certified
paperwork.
All
of that for 12 buckarunskis.
So Don, the guy I'm dating now.
Great. I didn't know this was one of those episodes.
I told him, he said, I could never buy a pair of Ray-Ban. I think you're insane for buying them because you'll just break them. But when he heard that they were $12, he said, buy me a pair because it won't matter if I lose them. And I said, no, because
you're mean.
You get a motorcycle accident. That's not my Ray-Ban. But so the concept, the weird test about it is the value was not in the glasses. It was in the price tag.
Because Heather felt saddened. That
felt cheap.
Heather said I couldn't give Corrie the $12 pair, even though they were identical, because she said the value was associated with the higher price tag with the one she gifted versus the $12 pair that she got.
Right. So it begs this question. So, okay, if I wanted to give you cookies and I took this logic that we're talking about here with my insane vice of expensive sunglasses, I'd give you a box of Oreos. You'd have more Oreos. You'd have delicious cookies.
Double stuffed if you do it right.
I'm not going to go to that single stuff.
How about the Oreo thins? What?
I'm going to go out the way I want to. So when we talk about sugar cookies, it's not that I've given you food. It's that I've given you a gift that is expensive and custom to you. Otherwise, if I was truly giving you sustenance, I'd give you a box of Oreos.
Right. It would accomplish the same thing, but instead you're giving me an experience. When I rip open the top of an Oreo thing, the only person getting excited is me.
Right. So back with the Ray-Bans, if I gave you those Ray-Bans and I never told you the price, I'd know that I was cheap. But I could let you live this life thinking that you had a genuine pair. If these are genuine, I don't know. You cannot tell that they're not. I went through everything.
Heather even run out a kitchen scale to weigh them.
They look exactly the same. But you saw when Don said, I'd like a pair. He intended that because they're cheap, I will not treat them with care.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, I will marry you.
Thanks. Celebrations, baked bean cookies. Not Oreos, but they are toasted. If you had the $12 pair, would you feel as Tom Cruise cool as the $200 pair?
I can tell you right now is what happened is I put them in my purse, not in a case, yesterday. I absolutely wore them. Somebody stopped me and said, wow, your glasses are beautiful. Never have they stopped the expensive ones.
Heather said, thanks, they're knockoffs. I can't help myself.
I shout out the name of that website. It's online. But I saw myself treating them differently because there was no value associated with them.
So you're saying value is directly associated with price?
I'm saying it has an inference, but when we talk about cookies, custom-made sugar cookies, it is 100% about the price. Because if I wanted to go to a baby shower and I wanted to gift you cookies, I could just give you Oreos, but that's not a gift. The gift is the custom sugar cookies at a specific price.
I agree. I 100% agree. I know, Heather knows I'm usually a cheap person by nature until I want something.
Corrie is so cheap.
until I want something, and then heaven or earth will not stop me from spending a large amount of money if I want it, if I find the value in it. So Heather has joined the Dyson hairdryer.
It works. But see, there is a knockoff Dyson on there.
Okay.
Okay.
How much was that one? Did you know?
It was $60.
Okay, so the Dyson hairdryer that me and Heather now both own, we do not live together for those who keep thinking we do, is about $450.
Outrageous. But it's extremely, it functions. The thing about the Dyson is it does have a better functionality than a typical blow dryer. The Ray-Bans are not blocking the sun anymore.
Yes.
So go on.
Well,
so
now,
the knockoff site sells the Dyson, which they allege, you do not know. Is it the same product? Or is it a knockoff product that performs less good? Yeah. Not as good as the other one. So with the Ray-Bans, because there's no true function of them,
it's not as
there's
easy
no
to
risk,
tell
right? It's not like it's blow drying my hair slower.
True.
It's just, protecting my eye effectively and my wallet.
So because it was an inanimate, not useful object.
It was the ultimate test because, and it kind of reminds me of cookies. Is it expensive? Is it the expensive cookies that your clients are buying? Or are they buying food? And I'd wager to say they're not buying food. They're buying an expensive gift. And the value, the gift, the same reason why you go to a baby shower and give them cookies is because you say, this cost me $65. And I could have given you a $65 Visa gift card, but that's not cool. Mm-hmm. And then I could have given you a box of Oreos, but there was no price point there to say I value you. So your value of your cookies comes from a higher price.
So this was totally random, but me and Heather have I have the Crumbed Cookies Facebook page, and then we have Sugar Cookie Classes Facebook page. Different audience because one's buying cookies, one wants to make them. I had a lady message and said she wanted a DIY kit. Gave her all the details. She was fine with the price. Gave her the address for pickup. She said, that's too far. Then I said, oh, absolutely, 100% understand. Thank you for reaching out. Then, not a day later, I posted my pre-sales for back to school. And she emails the Crumbed Cookies, I would like to partake in the pre-sales. I actually gave her the same exact address, and she said, cool, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the value tied with the pre-sale item versus the DIY kit was a lot. So she was able, I don't think she put two and two together, but
it's crazy where we attach value. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people are listening to this and saying, you're absolutely crazy for buying sunglasses, but in my world, that's value. Now, Corrie spends a lot of money on her animals, right? Because you like to keep them alive. But no, you make Ray, the dog, a steak dinner or something?
Ray gets, you just said steak dinner and they're rolling eyes. He gets steak on his birthday. He gets chicken every single night.
Okay. That's a lot better. I love our dog. So your value is, right now, if you told me, buy this dog a chicken dinner, I'd have to be like, absolutely not. It's out of my budget. But for me to turn around and put value on sunglasses that are $200, it's just different. So I think that my challenge for people in this crazy
find your
story,
ideal Heather and sell to her.
Our older sister Ashley she thinks the value in gifts is in the monetary amount. So she won't even buy things on sale because that to her doesn't feel like the value was there in giving the gift. But I think she's insane. Find an Ashley. That's the sister you want to sell to.
She actually pays very well for cookies, even though Heather pays me nothing for cookies. Ashley overpays.
We break even as sisters. So that's the weird circle conundrum is a lot of people in the group will be like, well, I wouldn't pay that. Of course you wouldn't. You're baking it. You would pay so little that you went out and learned how to do it yourself.
Right.
So your audience, your target audience, if we're trying to target these people who do see the value in the expenditure of money, they're willing to spend that much because that is where the gift is. The gift wasn't in food. The gift was in the value.
That's why I like to be the highest priced person around our area. Because people find value in going with the higher price. They think it's a higher quality and things like that. But then I get to make for one customer probably what the person down the street has to make for two customers. So
you get to spend less money on marketing, less time, all for the same.
Right. Like I had a lady reach out, and when we were at CookieCon, she wanted these our cuties on the way kind of cookies. And I said, okay. I said, it's going to be $80 for a dozen. She said, absolutely.
$80?
$80.
You're expensive.
I thought so too.
I was half a pair of Ray-Bans.
I'm going to give me a pair of Ray-Bans.
So, but like, okay, so I gave you those Ray-Bans. I've never seen you wear them.
You haven't seen me in the car, you old thing.
Yeah, I drove you yesterday and you didn't wear them.
We went 2 seconds
do
down
you
the road
see value in Ray-Ban sunglasses? I'd have to say probably not. You've never bought yourself a pair. You never think about them. You barely ever talk about them.
I feel very cool to have them in my purse right now.
I guarantee if you ever want a truly interesting case study, there's some YouTube videos on how Ray-Bans went from being a $20 pair of sunglasses through branding to being charging to go to charge. Why am I talking backwards?
$200. They're $200 now.
That's the lawnmower starting off. But that marketing and affiliating their brand, Luxottica is like a conglomerate that has a hold on sunglasses. But if getting it into Top Gun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how they were able to take a price point that had conditioned people that these were not a high-end pair of sunglasses, which as an inanimate object is fascinating, to being able to charge $200 for something that in the 80s was only $20 to $40.
I know. Tom Cruise. Step 1. Hire Tom Cruise to eat your cookies.
Step 2, tell my husband I said hello.
Step 3, rake in millions.
Okay, so that's my weird psychological test on myself.
I fall to that same mindset where pricing does and associate with value to me. You've seen it, you've witnessed it.
It's the same reason why people don't just give a $5 Starbucks gift card by itself. Because they're like, oh, this doesn't feel like $5. Like $5, $5.
I think if someone, this is the conundrum every Teacher Appreciation Week is.
Yeah.
I can't just give them cash. That's not thoughtful.
But that's what the teacher wants.
But
at least our aunt is
it's
a teacher.
for me, the buyer.
Right. The buyer's to say, I value this person. So because I want to show them that I value them, I'm going to buy a valuable thing to get them, even though they just asked me for $5 in cash.
No, ignore what they want.
Absolutely not.
They're never going to use.
All right, yeah, so a lot of teachers won't even eat the gifted food. So it's just so funny because I would feel so weird giving someone just like a $5 bill.
Yeah, I know.
Right. It just would be weird.
You should give them cash and a cookie, knowing full well they're going to toss the cookie.
Right. But you can't, giving cash by itself, it just feels weird because there's no, I guess the thing about giving cash is I value you this much cash.
Yeah, it's thoughtless. I mean, was it wadded up in the bottom of your pocket?
But that's what everybody wants. Like, I'd much rather have the cash I can buy the things that I truly do want. But we can't say, like, you are worth to me $5.
Yeah. So as the buyer, could they really take Oreos to your, baby shower? Probably not. They value you more than that.
Your baby, hopefully. Right. So it's just such an interesting thought. And I challenge anybody this week is find those things that you buy and have all the reasons why Ray-Bans are better than anything. They're not. But I have to say, why am I buying this? I like that they have a price point that makes me feel good.
Yeah. I mean, my price point should make you feel good because I'm charging you for cookies next time.
Well, you lost a client. I have to pay for Ray-Bans.
That actually brings us to the business of baking. And I want to talk about your audience. As you streamline, as you're listening to the podcast, as you are soaking in knowledge from Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, your prices might increase because your packaging increases. You start investing into your marketing. You start paying yourself a livable wage, hopefully. But a lot of us has started out our businesses and we charge, if you're like me, it started off as a hobby. Then someone say, hey, can I buy some cookies from you? And you're like, yeah, I mean, are you okay with $20? Does that sound good? And they're like, yeah, that's fine.
The people who are willing to be test animals are a type, and I'm one of you. I love my people. We are a type.
But those people that started you on your way to having a successful business aren't always going to be the ones who follow the entire journey. Why? Because hopefully you've learned more. You now know the cost of your ingredients, the cost of your time, and you've pricing accordingly. So a lot of times what I see in the group is people like, I raise my prices and it's silent. Should I go back down?
The first thing they'll change is immediately go back to a discount when the challenge should be how many other pieces can you move before you touch your price?
Absolutely. So when you start upping your pricing because you've done the numbers and you say, hey, I would like to make money off of this and become a business, you are going to have a drop off of your old target audience because they're no longer your target audience. You sourced
a target audience from Ross. I can say that because I love Ross. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you told them, hey, you're not Ross anymore. You got Neiman Marcus. And me and everybody around me will be like, this is not where I was shopping before. So people like me will drop out of the target audience because you're no longer reaching me at your new price.
But because you said that that's a great point, you've worked hard and you've grown your audience, but now they are no longer your target audience. There is going to be a dip in sales, a dip in people saying, yeah, sure, I would love to buy a dozen, because you are now churning your ideal client.
Your whole target audience has fallen out of your target. And now you're shifting over to Neiman Marcus target audience, and they haven't heard about you yet.
Right.
So that panic when you see sales going down because you raise prices makes you think, I need to lower my prices again. You come back to your original target audience, right? Me and my Ross people.
You take me back.
And then we're like, yeah, we'll only ever give you this much money. And you're like, okay, well, then that's my market. No, that's that target. That's that audience.
A lot of times people like to say that marketing's not working. No one's buying. Or has your audience not switched over quite yet? I have a friend who bought from me in the beginning when my prices were low and my cookies were poo-poo. And does she buy from me now? No. But she said, I can't tell you right now. She doesn't listen.
It's your neighbor.
Just kidding. She doesn't buy from me now, but she says, as a single woman in the DC area, I cannot afford your pricing. Hey, that's 100%. I actually appreciate her letting me know that, but she'll never buy from me. And she's made that clear. She was my other ideal client when I started, someone willing to pay cheaper for maybe less experience.
A less quality product. And there's us, we're out there. Like, I'm not in Ray-Bans. I'm willing to buy refurbed constantly, especially when it comes to camera gear. I have no qualms buying something that has been refurbished. But there's people out there who said, I will never buy refurbished because I don't know. There's people who buy new cars and people who buy used cars. And the people who buy new cars know that as soon as those tires leave that lot, 40% of the value of the car is dropped off, and they're absolutely fine with it.
They also know people are going to get whiplash trying to see that car drive by because they're jealous.
They got a brand new car. They know exactly which butt has been in which seat since the origination of the car. Right. And then there's people like Corrie and I who I don't think you and I would buy a new car.
No, because I've sold used cars, I do feel comfortable buying them.
So when you go to an auto park, like in this area, we have a lot of car dealerships that congregate. You'll have new car, used car lot, new car, used car lot. And none of them are suffering. They all have a different target that is pulling from different ways. Right. And all of them are making money.
Yeah, and they're marketing differently. The used car lot guy is not going to market to the new people who want to buy new cars.
Because they're not going to buy from them.
They're not. Vice versa. So when people are like, hey, I tried the marketing, it didn't work, I have no sales, is it because you have not reached your new target audience yet? If me and Heather could say, we would say to anyone who is just starting out, know your numbers and charge accordingly. Don't just say, I'm new, I'm going to charge less.
Someone asked a great question the other day. Said, I want to do the boo bag thing. So you've been booed bags. How do I price them? I said, well, how much is your packaging? How much is your ingredients? And how much is your time worth? Okay, there's your base number. That's the minimum you can charge before you start actually losing money on each sale. Now we need profit because you're a business, so add 20%, roughly guesstimate. Right. Your business is going to be different, but 20% is a healthy number. That price is your sale price. Look at it. Now ask people if they're willing to pay it. If you've exceeded your market value, then you can either not sell boo bags or you can lose money on each sale. And neither, the first one is the only logical business sense.
If you're willing to lose money to sell a boo bag, we got to have a song.
I like to buy from you.
I found your target audience.
I paid nothing. Put Ray-Bans on the little booze. And be a boo-boo to my wallet. So
I'm hungry.
It is too, and I have not eaten. Okay, the important thing is this. I sold my motorcycle last year, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't have the Ray-Bans. Go with it. Didn't want any more. It was trash. Just kidding. So I made a spreadsheet, and I took the average. I found the top 15 listings, make and model of that motorcycle in the East Coast, meaning because a lot of people are willing to drive for a motorcycle. So I had to factor in all the way to New York, down to North Carolina, where there's a military base where a lot of those men will sell off their bikes before they deploy. Yeah. So I took their mileage, and I found the average of all of them and the price, then knocked it up against my bike in a ratio, and found that the price that I wanted put me at the second highest price point of this bike on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I could say, well, that's going to outprice my market. Clearly, I'm at the top of it. But instead of moving the price that I wanted, I changed everything else. So I took extremely great photos. I had photos of every part of that bike. I had probably 20 photos, and of a motorcycle, it's not that big.
Yeah.
Like any blemish, I took a zoomed-in photo.
Those photos look crispy crunch.
Right. And then the write-up, it was probably 5 paragraphs of what this bike had, what I did. And then I said, here's everything else I'm including with the sale of this bike, which was like, the lift arm and the,
seatbelt. You're struggling for a word.
It was so much that I had listed with it. And I put a dollar amount next to the extras. So I said, technically, I'm giving you an additional $300 worth of product to buy this bike. So the guy who bought the bike showed up 30 minutes after the listing went live. Okay. And ends up walking away with the bike. But he looked at me, he said, I know in Maryland, this exact same bike, but better, is for sale for cheaper than what you're asking. And I said, dude, I know exactly which bike you're talking about. I just looked at the listing. He said, but he has 3 photos and 1 sentence. I said, I just don't feel comfortable spending this much money on something with so little information, but yours has so much information.
So what Heather is saying and how you can apply it to you, instead of moving your price because you think that is what's holding you back, why don't you change your photography? Why don't you change your copy?
Packaging.
Why don't you change your packaging? How about you learn what your audience wants to see and accommodate them, whether it comes to a different photo set, the questions you're asking, how you're engaging with the content. On Instagram, you can see when your audience is most active. So unless you're not using that, that's another thing you could partake in. Are you reaching them at their ideal times?
I'd rather move everything up before I move price down.
Yes.
Because price is truly the value of your time. And to discount your time means your time is not valuable.
That is something that's so, anytime I price something, I'm like, if I price it anything less than this, I don't value my time. And that's the only thing I can actually take with you.
So let's say you post your boo bags. Okay, maybe it's too high for your current target audience.
Yeah, the old audience.
How can you find your new audience?
I would say go into your community group. That's where they're lurking and they're sitting, waiting to buy. People on your page is your old audience. They were accustomed to the old pricing and everything like that. So posting at a new higher price, you probably aren't going to get people knocking at your door.
Not from the old thing. And a few people will make that leap because they'll know.
And they will say,
I've been getting these at a discount.
I figured this was about
this is going to happen. Okay. But then as you get the, you couldn't go into Ross and hang up a Coach bag at $500 and ever expect it to move.
Not the place, not the time or the place.
But now you could go to you could go to Neiman Marcus, hang up the Coach bag, and it looks like a discount next to some of those crazy bags that we saw.
Absolutely,
the day I gagged the entire time.
But what Heather is saying is, your audience, if you don't make a sale right off the bat, you need to say, who am I marketing to? My old audience that was accustomed to an old pricing, or this new audience that I have not yet cultivated. This new audience, just like your old audience wasn't, you didn't get 500 page likes over, a 24-hour period. The same thing with this new audience. It's going to take time to grow it, but don't do yourself a disservice and just discount your pricing because you didn't move something.
Know your numbers. That's the biggest thing. At no point... But so everyone's like, well, what's your price for this? I don't know. How much does your stick of butter cost? How many sticks of butter does your recipe require? Whatever that is your cost of ingredients. After you get that number, it guides every pricing decision you make because you cannot go under that number and still be profitable.
Successful. Right. Then it's back to a hobby. You are doing a hobby. Hobbies cost you money. Businesses make you money.
And cost me money.
Cost you a little bit, but make you more. But
cause a lot of stress. Okay, so that's a good point. I think that is a great one. Okay, Corrie, I know we launched the Cookie College course, which I say is course. It is a membership of many courses. So some of the things that we cover, I know I just taught people how to set up Google Workspace, which is a custom email. We did that on Monday through a Facebook Live, but that's also a course in the membership.
It also is. So a lot of people are like, oh, I just get these courses. Right now I'm building out the Instagram course, but this week in the Cookie College Facebook group, which is only for the Cookie College members, I went and I took pictures, I wrote copy, I gave them all the links, and I set them up for a Halloween DIY kit pre-sales. I said, use my photo, see how many sales you could possibly make, and then invest in everything. So, with pre-sales, it's annoying because you have to buy the cutters, you have to buy the boxes, because that's what you need to actually take the photo. But what if I spent my money and my time and I gave you everything in a nice, neat, little tiny gift box and say, use this and see what you can make?
I don't have to.
So many people are like, oh my goodness, I just bought it. I have 15 orders already, and I don't even own one of the things that you posted. But they
got
got
it. The links and how to
ready
buy
to go.
everything.
So they were able to make. I just did the pre-sale part for them, and they were able to post it and see what they could make. So they said,
"What a great investment! How do we sign up for this course?"
I know. Guess what? We're doing some more too.
That's great. I wish I joined the Cookie College.
Well, the Cookie College is booked. Just kidding.
So we do currently have a 250 member cap, which we are at, but we assume that as people's businesses ebb and flow, we'll have turnover around the beginning of each month, so we'll kind of open it back up for a few seats.
So there's a wait list.
There is a wait list, which you can go to thecookiecollege.com, and it should be up towards the top. Just, sign me up to the wait list, and it'll put you on an email list that will send, hey, listen, this many seats are open. Feel free to purchase.
So they'll have the first come, first served. Mm-hmm. And then whoever else wants to open up, if that so goes.
I'm so proud. If Mike, if you're listening to this, he was really just dug into every course, and creepily I can see everyone's progress from the dashboard.
No, look at my progress.
And he's just kind of tearing into, set up his job form with conditional logic, connected it to his payment portal. He's streamlining a lot of things, got his workspace set up, just really getting his money's worth out of this.
Yeah. If anyone thought I'm on the fence, a lot of people that were paying monthly switched to paying yearly because
surprised.
They saw so much value. So they say, hey, if I can sign up for the year and save
2 months,
you get 2 months free. So that was encouraging that people liked it.
Because someone said in the group, because there's a private Facebook group associated with your membership, but you get both for those of you who paid and didn't realize what you bought. That gives you a lot of more stuff. And someone said, I thought it was just coursework. I didn't realize it was a lot of this conversation and these free photos that you're giving people and stuff like that. Pretty nice. Okay, voicemails. The number is 571-556-5644. Just basically hit 5 and 6 a couple times, end with some 4s, and you call. But here are the voicemails. Corrie, can you talk a little bit while I pull these up?
Okay, so voicemails, we appreciate everyone who calls or texts in. The great part is we do not call or text back. If you do get a text back, it's like Heather's automated thing that says, thanks for texting. We are not going to contact you. But you can email in at hello@sugarcookiemarketing if you're from out of the States, and then phone number, call or text 571-556-5644.
Okay, here's our first one.
Hi, Heather and Corrie. First of all, your podcast and your group is great. You always sound like you're having fun, which is super inspiring. So I really appreciate that. My name is Shauna, and I'm calling, I've got a question. I'm active duty Air Force, and I'm also the owner and official taste tester at Heritage Sweets in South Riding, Virginia. I just found out that I'm going to be deploying in July, which is awesome. I'm super excited for the opportunity, but I'm also concerned about my business while I'm gone. So I wondered if you have any suggestions on how to handle the absence, if you have any ideas of what I could do for content while I'm gone. Basically, I just don't want to have to start over from scratch when I get back 6 months later. So anyway, I really appreciate any advice that you have. And thank you again for everything that you're doing. You guys are great. Have a great day. Bye.
Great. Okay. Well, that's cool. She actually lives right down the street from us.
Yeah. Thank you for your service. And I'm not sure if you have access to the internet or your phone while you're overseas, but Facebook actually has a great content scheduler that is free through them. It's called the Creator Studio. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to, you can, I would, if I were you, let people know, hey, I'm going to be overseas, so I won't be able to take orders, but I still want to be connected to you. I'm still going to post some updates, some of my favorite sets and things like that. And then you can schedule them out in Creator Studio. And then if you get access to the internet while you're over there, you can always respond to comments and things like that. I know people love to connect with other people. So if you share how your life is going, if you wanted to, like, hey, just saw this weird pineapple over there, wherever you're going, I have no idea. People appreciate that. They want to stay connected to you. They want to support you as a person. So I honestly think if you couple Creator Studio with some personal life updates as you're over there, it will really keep people from forgetting about your page and your business.
I could say if you could sit down for maybe an hour and you're looking at 6 months, so what's 6 times 4? 24. So, okay, let's say you have...
That's the true thing.
Wow, Corey just said a number. Okay, so let's say you decide to put into Creator Studio 1 post per week for the next 6 months.
Oh, 24.
Yeah, so you're looking at 24 pieces of content just as your basis, just so that every week something goes up.
Yeah.
Then you don't really have to think about it. So even if you're deployed and it does get super busy, it's not on your mind, but it's also not falling behind either. And then if you have access to a cell phone, if you're allowed to post from wherever you're being deployed to, then say, hey guys, a little look into my life, and then kind of give people like an update. Whenever you get back in 6 months, we'll be looking kind of more spring.
Yeah.
So you could start, introducing, hey guys, I'll be back around this time. If you want your Easter orders, feel free to message me.
Yeah, so you can kind of jumpstart that while you're still away.
Yeah, the last thing we want is for a page to be super active and then be super dead, then be super active, then super dead. It's kind of hard to resuscitate those pages. So if we can keep it kind of going, and then I'd say, ask your family if they wouldn't mind giving you likes and comments while you're gone.
And to that point, if you have a twin sister named Heather, make her an admin on the page, and then she can also keep it going for you. So she can respond, because I know, you'll have time differences and you'll have limited access to things like that. So you could do the initial post, and then you could have a family or a trusted friend be able to keep that engagement up, and no one will be any the wiser.
And I would also say, set your away message to let people know, so you're not worried that they're messaging you and not going to reply, saying, hey, I'm deployed until this date. I'll be back then. If you'd like to keep me in mind for your future orders, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But let kind of the automation help you on this one, so that you don't have to focus on it when you're doing your actual job.
And nice to know you're our neighbor.
Hey-yo. Corrie and I used to live just down Evergreen Mills Road.
She's like, we'll Google you later.
Hi, ladies. My name is Caitlin. I'm with Double Batch Confections in Michigan. I am just starting out on my little business journey here, and I am running out of pictures for Instagram and Facebook as examples of what I can do, because I haven't gotten many orders in. So my question is, what would you suggest doing for engagement posts, or should I just make stuff up in Canva? Should I make more cookies and essentially waste product? Even if I have flash sales, I'm not to the point where I have a huge following where people are purchasing those. So any kind of input would be great. Thank you so much. Oh, and also, I can't have a favorite twin because I have twin girls, because I'm always baking in double batches. Thanks, ladies.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, that's adorable. I'm going to take this one on because I have been where you have been.
Take it away, my twin.
Taking it away. Okay, so when you are starting out, it is great to build up content, and it's not wasting product. There are homeless shelters and places like that you can actually take and donate the food, and they will take it. So don't think of it as wasting, because you can give it to those folks, and they appreciate it. Smile on their face that they loved it. But I would make, like, when I was back in the day trying to grow my business, I would make cut 2 cookies of the same cookie cutter and make those 2. I'd photograph it, so then I had more content, and then I would take it to the shelter so they could pick it up at lunch and things like that. I think it just had to be heat sealed or bagged or something like that, if I recall. But that's a great way to build content and also give back to your community all in the same place. So I think that would be a great way. Also, if you wanted to, Icing Smiles is a great way. It's where you can make cookies and cakes, like these things for kids with terminal illnesses. So it's a great way to practice, one, and to make something amazing, and also bring a smile to maybe, a kid that hasn't smiled in a bit.
They're called Icing Smiles?
Icing Smiles.
Oh, that's a cute idea. Oh, that's a good one. Now I feel bad, taking all your cookies when you could have been giving them to people in need.
Hi, Heather and Corrie. My name is Aubrey, and I recently started selling sugar cookies. My question for you is in regards to cookie pickup for custom orders or pop-ups or pre-sales. My husband and I are both teachers, and we live in what I would describe as a modest neighborhood. Some of our neighbors are kind of hit or miss on their lawn care or general upkeep of their homes. And recently I have felt a little embarrassed to have customers coming to our home to pick up cookies. We try to really keep our lawn nice and our home nice, but I just worry that that luxury brand of my cookies isn't being communicated from our neighborhood. And at this point, we plan to be in our home for several more years, but how would you recommend handling that? Should I meet customers at a nearby Target parking lot? Does that get shady? Should I not have pop-ups? I see so many cookiers who live in really beautiful homes, and I just know that that's not me for this season, but I'm curious how you would recommend addressing still presenting that luxury feel without living in a luxury neighborhood. Thank you for your thoughts and help.
That's a great question. A couple options.
Yes.
Corrie and I had thought of. Corrie.
My neighbor has her Halloween, her Easter, her Christmas, and her St. Patrick's Day decor up.
Just leave it and then all come back into play. But another thing, Gina Marie Burke, who actually sent us cookies in the mailbag this week, which is awesome, she partners with, for different reasons, she partners with somebody else in her city. Mm-hmm. And she'll have a pop-up at that person's house. In exchange, that person gets like a batch of free cookies.
I think it was like the leftovers.
Anything that didn't sell. She did it as a pop-up, and she'll have, she'll do a 2-location thing so that she can reach most of her market. But in the same vein, if you had somebody in a part of town that I guess that people liked or had really pretty neighbors or an HOA that's very strict, welcome to Virginia, then you could say a pop-up there. Now, some other options. A lot of people just don't like people coming to their house.
Right.
So the police station.
The police station, honestly, most police stations have come up with this in the last few years. They'll have a drop-off spot. So it'll be the switcheroo spot where if someone...
For online sales. Like on
for
eBay
online
and Facebook
sales. And it will be 2 very well-lit parking spots where you and your customer...
I think there's cameras pointed at them, too.
I think so, too. And then you could do that as an exchange. Granted, that is
intense
time. It's a lot of time to drive over there and wait, especially if you could just be waiting in your house. So at the end of the day, your ideal client will be okay with your house. If you have your lawn is nice and mowed, you look presentable, your house looks presentable, your ideal client will appreciate that. At the end of the day, I'm never going to be able to take my neighbors. I don't know how you would combine all those words. Christmas, Halloween, Easter,
Valentine's Day. You can't take that down. But if I went to Corrie's house, I'm not necessarily looking at her neighbors. I'm worried that her kitchen looks clean if that's where she's baking. So I'd definitely be a little bit more lenient on your target audience and say that they're probably okay with it. We can't control our neighbors. We all live in neighborhoods, and I've lived in, some people in the group live in apartment complexes and can have pop-ups. So they'll deal with that in their own specific way, but nobody discounts their product any more than
right. So I do think you have a few options, but I also wouldn't say that don't let your area, don't think for your customers is what basically I'm saying. If you have your house is nice and it's warm and it's welcoming and you love it, then absolutely use that. Your target and ideal clients will appreciate that.
Yeah, if I saw your lawn was well kept, I'd be like, well, my cookies would be fine. And your neighbor lives in like a jungle, I'd be like, well, I'm now ordering cookies.
What about my neighbor who has a beautiful garden?
And I like Rose's house. They're really nice. I think she's probably embarrassed by yours.
Rude. They mow my lawn.
Please don't judge me by my neighbor, Corrie. Okay, so group stuff. We had... obviously we have a lot of lives going on constantly, which is really awesome. Now we've gotten it almost to 2 a week. And the Facebook group lives are just other members willing to give you a little bit information about how they run their business, from DIY kits. I know Liv is teaching how to make stencils using a Cricut this weekend.
Right.
She's very nervous. She'll do just fine.
She'll do great. I didn't update the past one, so I'll read
tell
this
that as I'm stuttering. Go ahead.
Are you ready for the fast
Belinda
one?
taught a 101 on airbrushing.
Airbrushing with Belinda Cooley. She did Airbrushing 101. If that is something you are curious about or want to step into the world of, you could catch that past event. There was a business collabs and styled shoots with Kimberly. She's amazing and fantastic at it. I've never met someone who's so good at partnering with other businesses, so definitely catch that one. And then we had this amazing French macaron bake-along with Heather Martin.
I was so prepared. She did the name good, guys.
So she did a fantastic job. If you were ever curious about macarons, now we have 2 bake-alongs. One is... What method did she do? The Italian method? No, Meredy did the Swiss method, and I think Heather did the Italian.
Oh, I felt like it was French.
Okay, there's 2 different methods floating out there, so there's no excuse to not be this macaroni.
The smack billionaire, okay? But Meredy's also doing a bake-along on cake.
It's on there.
Yeah.
I put it on there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Cake pop cones. And she said it's a great, if you can't figure out what's cake pops. Cake pop cones. She's like another great way to kind of do that.
Without the stick.
Yeah. So that's coming up. We're making stencils with your Cricut with Liv Little Witch. She is very good at this stuff, and she is walking us through everything that you need to make your own set of stencils.
Step 1. Buy Cricut.
Yeah, I think you are required to have a Cricut for this. Selling your products in Square with Fressia Malone, the Bow Lady. She is taking everyone through a couple things that she sees are repetitive questions in the group about Square websites. If you're thinking websites and you're on the fence, a lot of people get started with Square, love it.
Absolutely.
So that one, and then the cake pop cones, Bake Along with Meredith Martin, is October 6th. Now, in here somewhere is missing one. It's how to hire a virtual assistant. We're still determining the date, but that would be great because I love virtual assistants.
Heather does love to pay them.
I do not like to do the work myself, so let somebody else do that. Now, we have a new group challenge coming up. I haven't published about it, but everyone really liked the Main Street cooking. Now, Corey, explain to me what that is.
Okay, so the Main Street cooking was brought by Lydia Eldridge. And did I say the last name right? She did a great marketing, it's not even a ploy, it's a marketing strategy where she went through her Main Street in her town and cookified business logos, main statues of the Main Street, and she was able to get a lot of local business orders, which is fantastic because even if the corporate business doesn't buy from you, probably the person running it is someone who might want birthday cookies, anniversary cookies. So she was able to reach a subset of audience that she was not able to reach before. So we said, let's turn that into a collab.
Right. So it will be the cookie collab, and you'll find a kind of, I would challenge you to find something that's a brand that's very well known in your local area.
I'll be going to DC.
So yeah, we do live next to the pencil.
That's what I'm going to do.
So to kind of go there and recreate a logo or something that's very prominent in your area. And then that will, on October 16th, which is a Friday, everyone will post around the same time, and then we'll all go engage using the group hashtag.
True. And if I was a true marketer, I honestly wouldn't do something in DC because I do not drive to DC for orders, and people in DC do not drive to me for orders. There's about 2 hours worth of traffic in between. So I would
Honestly,
choose
if
something
you could do
local.
$4.95 with a bunch of traffic,
so
that would be our iconic with a little express lane off to the left.
The interchange.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Okay, and then we have, we're not going to be at CookieCon Dallas, but that is October 6th through the 9th. It sounds like a blast. I saw
Looks like
Mike
a beautiful place.
Yeah, stunning looking hotel. It seems like they're going to have a lot of fun there. So you crazy kids, don't do anything we wouldn't let you do with us. Okay, so the Twinterest section, Corrie at CookieCon bought what?
It was okay, guys. I am horrendous. I know it's 100% user error because I have 3 airbrush, now 4 airbrush systems.
When will she realize it's herself and
I
not
would
the
like to blame everyone but me. But I got this Grex airbrush. It just came in yesterday, so I'm definitely going to do an unboxing. I bought the extra little doodads because I really want to set myself up for success and be able to blame Grex when it doesn't work.
Oh yeah. So you got the Grex airbrush?
Yes, Grex. Yes.
And I've heard from what people have said that it's great.
Well, he said you get what you pay for, so I paid a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be good. And then my older sister works for YNAB, which is an acronym for You Need a Budget app. If you don't know what YNAB is, they'll actually be doing a Facebook Live in the group and talking about small business budgets and how you can use YNAB, You Need a Budget app, to make that more effective. Anyways, she's on TikTok. I think she's Ashley with the YNAB team or something.
She's an organized wallet, boob.
Her name is... Stop calling me that on the air. So she saw in the back of one of her videos, she had this tiny little clock that had no time on it. It was a timer, but it's working off the Pomodoro technique, which you just set it to 55 minutes, and then it just rings at the end of 55 minutes.
And then how long of a break do you
It's
get?
Whatever you want to do. So it's letting you live your own life.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked for 55 minutes. We were done here. So that was neat. So it's called the time timer. And it's so simplistic. It just works off of one AA battery, and all it does is keep track of the minutes. And so
I do like the Pomodoro. Did I say that right?
She really loves it, guys. She really loves it.
I just say, Heather, set your timer. I'm not working very hard.
The Pomodoro technique is working in increments of like 25 minutes to 40 minutes, whatever you choose. And then you'll take a 5-minute break until the 5th Pomodoro, and then you get a 15-minute break.
It's like a guilt-free break. So veg out on TikTok.
Nothing happens during break time that is effective. You're on TikTok just wasting your life away. And then you work in these increments of like 30 minutes, whatever. I can work much better when I hear 30 minutes than I can hear 8 hours. Yeah. So that is that one. Okay, our sponsors. Eduardo is still our sponsor.
I got to use him tonight. I'm going to call you.
Corrie had to walk Corrie how to use the Eddie, which is crazy because it is in that membership course in the Cookie College. And she's like, do you cover that? I do.
I'm visual.
So what are you doing?
So I'm doing these. This is a set that's really thrown me off. It's pigs, birthday pigs.
Okay.
But realistic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you making, because that was very much a clip art that you're printing out.
Yeah, because I'm doing 2. He's turning 2, so I got this 2-letter thing off of you when I call you.
So yeah, a lot of people don't realize Eddie can do shapes. We're not going to say that he loves shapes, but he can do them. So when you do a repeating pattern, that is when he's most effective. If you try to match it like perfectly in with that, I'm going to say Eddie's
some people
like,
are
no.
knocking it out of
They're
the
doing
park.
it on
Fondant,
and then putting the fondant on the cookie, and that's a great solution. No bleed. Perfectly matched.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very great idea. But for Corrie and I, as we trip around with poor Eddie, that'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm going to call you.
Okay.
Then we have Bakety Bake. It's a meringue powder from a small business cookie owner over in Idaho.
Somebody just said in the group that they used it because they needed to write on a bunch of cookies and it saved their butts.
See, I told you.
Bakety Bakes is great when you want to write on a cookie and
with
you're
a fine tip marker.
I guess whatever she does to it just is really effective.
Now I've used it exclusively. I'm obsessed with it.
How much is a bag?
I think it's typical. Talk while I look it up.
But so, not that I bake, but I do eat. I didn't notice any taste difference between Bakety Bakes and whatever you're using before, but Corrie noticed a huge difference when it comes to
using it.
So I think you could still say, hey, I'm going to switch this meringue powder and not have any change in your recipe, essentially. Just have a better functioning
I didn't
powder.
taste the difference, but I also don't have a luxury palate. It's
I do. I wear Ray-Bans.
It's $21.99, but guys, the shipping isn't the cheapest, but you are supporting a local small business.
But
so
they
that's
get a discount using a...
I was getting there. If you want to save 10%, use code TWINS, TWINS at checkout, and you will save some money.
Great. Thank you, Eduardo, and thank you, Bakety Bakes, for bringing this episode to everybody.
Don't buy enough Bakety Bakes where I can't buy some, because I'll be offended.
Right. Podcast question. Okay, so the mailbag. If you want to send us bribes, we willingly accept to 15,000 Potomac Town Place, Suite 245, Woodbridge, Virginia, 22191. And we had somebody take us up on that, Gina Marie Burke, who I referenced before. She's taught many Facebook Lives, so has her husband. But they had this question. Now, Gina has 2 twins. They're adorable. It's on our website. She can also ship to the 48 states. But the twins have a dairy and gluten intolerance. So her entire business is made off of the concept that I'm making gluten and dairy-free products.
Okay.
Because she started with her twins. Anyway, so she said, people love our brownie cookies, which she sent to us. They were delicious, as well as our regular cookies, round white icing, logo airbrushed on. Some are in it for the taste alone, many because they're gluten-free, dairy-free, and healthier than just a normal cookie. So should we price at a premium or price at a modest markup and focus on volume of sales? More affordable to keep more stable in the pantry type deal. Help this business and marital discussion.
Oh, marital discussion. Yeah. At the end of the day, you have 2 hands.
And 24 hours.
So more volume, you're going to cap out.
Yes. So we talked about it. Corrie and I thought that it would be a better business model to charge at a premium because you have a niche audience that only you can truly supply to.
And you're like, no, that's taking advantage. Guess what? Disney takes advantage of me.
Disney does not care.
And guess what? I am willing to pay because I am a niched audience. I'm willing to pay for the Disney experience, for the Disney Plus toys that are marked up 200%.
As a Disney adult.
Disney.
So now Disney could say, okay, well, we want volume, so we're going to price at, there's a park here called Kings Dominion. We're going to do Kings Dominion prices, which I think is like, what, $50 a day?
Yeah.
Maybe? If, yeah. But it's a great park, but it also shows that it is $50 a day park, right?
It's a little rundown.
Here's the thing. It used to be Paramount Kings Dominion, so it was all
so
the movies.
Cool.
But then Paramount pulled out of the agreement, so now it's just called Kings Dominion. And every movie roller coaster is still there. So they had a movie roller coaster called Italian Job where you got into these 3 smart cars, mini cars, right? Now it's just called The Job. Like it's just, it's so ambiguous.
Yeah. But if Disney priced that way, they would have so many people that people would lose the Disney experience and the Disney magic, and they would lose people. But because they price at a premium, they have us people who are willing to pay it, love to pay it, take my money, please. And are able to make us happy because we're more ideal.
Right. And especially when you're dealing with, okay, so if I had a widget, right, I have my big task is storage, but this is ingredients, this is baking, it's manual labor is involved. So working at volume, I'd say, okay, if I have a widget, a standalone product that once it's been created, there's no additional task in the creation process, I may focus more on a volume, keep my margins razor thin, be more competitive. But you have two things working for you. Not only are you
have a tasty product. Ask me.
You have a tasty product, but you have a niche product. Yeah. So you're not even talking regular cookie ears in your niche anymore. You are niche down to glary free, and you put that on the label. Absolutely glare free. No glares with these Ray-Bans on. But that is the thing. So I'm so curious which one of you picked which one. I'm assuming the hub said razor thin margins, volume focus.
That's what I feel like.
Right.
Mr.
So where she wrote that?
Mr. Gina Marie Burke said,
Mr. Hubby.
Work harder, not smarter.
Just kidding. Nobody needs to sleep. So I would say, because you're also a niche, and probably to anybody listening to this anyways, I wouldn't focus so much on razor thin margins. Like we talked about earlier, focus on better marketing to your target audience.
I want to quote someone. It was not me, so do not hang me at the stake. But someone did say, as a gluten-free parent, I expect to pay more because I know those ingredients and that the recipes cost more. So because they're already expecting that there's going to be a bit of a price difference, you're not price gouging if... I mean, is your cookie
Gina's
$20?
$1 million. Yeah. Gina now owns Disney World. She sold one cookie. Disney Gina. So yeah, if it were me, if it were my business and how I'd run it, I would say, because you can ship to the 48 states, you have a much larger target audience and you have a niche that you can sell to as well. If you had a storefront and you had employees, maybe we could focus more on a volume type thing. But unless Hubsies is getting in the kitchen there with you, it's just going to be you.
All right, guys, that sums us up. Sorry for 2 days and $2 short here.
We're only at 55 minutes. Usually we go to an hour and change.
We want to chat a little bit. What have you been up to besides trying to learn from your speeding ways? And
I went to driver improvement course.
Heather was there with two other criminals.
Yeah, it was 3 people in the class, and the guy was like, well, let's just chit chat. Oh, this is great. This is my theory. So I did get a speeding ticket.
She wasn't even speeding to anything cool.
I was just living my life
speeding
the fast
cool?
way.
No, children listening to this.
If your mom is speeding and you're in the car right now, I want you to tell her to slow down. But so here's my thing. I used to be very involved in cars and have a little pocketbook of past tickets that I've always represented myself at court.
Weirdo, yeah.
Right. So this time I wanted to see if I could invest in a lawyer for a ticket I could represent myself in. Could he get me off more effectively?
Do you think, or did you just think you're going to do this one?
I'm still going with the guy, but I just want to see if his relationship, because he knows the prosecutor and I don't.
Yeah.
He knows what to say and I don't. So I hired him $350, a Ray-Ban and a half.
A portion of it.
Yeah, and then he's recommending me do these various things. So I just want to test hiring. So that's what you hire at your
So how much have you spent out of pocket?
They made us in the driver's improvement class write out every cost.
Okay, so what's your cost was this driver's improvement course?
$85.
The lawyer.
$350.
That's so far what you've been out? Are you doing the calibration thing?
That would be $100.
Are you doing it?
I'm not sure yet. He didn't recommend it, the driver improvement course, but now and community service.
Are you doing community service?
He said if you do community service, the driver improvement course said because of COVID you can do online community service, but he just emailed me and said I'd recommend you write blog posts. That's what I looked it up today. Yeah, for addiction recovery.
Before anyone thinks Heather's this hardened criminal with the speeding, she has a +5 right now, but she wants to keep her
+5 is a Virginia only specific thing. It means that we have a perfect driving record. In states that use a negative system, we use a positive down to negative. In Michigan, it's a positive is bad.
Oh, okay. So +5 is great. That's fantastic here. I've had a +5 for a bunch of years now.
Yeah. So I figured if I have a +5, if I hire this lawyer and I just want to see if the investment, which I know this is crazy, but if he can save me in the long term, no points on my insurance.
Guys, you should have heard her. She called my husband late one evening because he is a police officer and said, how would this go in court if I said these things? And he was like, well, if you went to the driver's improvement course, I don't think you would be that.
His
and they were
best tip was don't get another ticket. Like, thanks, dude.
He said, don't speed.
Thanks, officer. So, but when I called the lawyer, he said, who is the officer? Officer this. Oh, I know exactly who that is. I can tell you what he's going to tell you. So I figured this is my test to see if hiring a lawyer and an upfront investment.
Because you will have court costs regardless.
Right. But the thing is the insurance increase. That's what I would like to.
Yeah. So you're going to do all those things. You're fine if you get one. Your court cost, your lawyer.
They made us write down the things we like to buy. Of course, I wrote Ray-Bans. And then he said, now how many are you losing of that thing? This is hurting my feelings a little bit, guy.
Man.
Right? That's hurt my show. Then he made us write on a paper that sat in front of us the whole class, who is typically in your car? He said, are you willing to risk their lives?
Did you put my name and say no?
She said, yes. I said, and then he looked at the class and he said, did you notice that no one in this class put themselves? Where's the altar call?
All three of you go up to the front.
Amazing. That'll be my test. So that court date is October 27th. And it is coming back to my hiring out your hate. So a lot of people hate doing the admin side of their business. We have over 50 Facebook Lives have been done in the group. I wanted to create a spreadsheet so that people could navigate the Facebook Lives and see who taught them and where and the link. Right. But I didn't want to do that because I knew it was going to take me about 2.5 hours. So our cousin was looking for side job work, and she's very, 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 very organized. So I mentioned to her this thing, and she said, okay, here's my rate. So I closed my eyeballs.
Little stuff
and then it came and it was done. And people were like, this is great. Thank you so much. And I said, I did nothing.
Guys, randomly, I told my husband, oh yeah, Heather signed me up to skydive. Randomly, I just mentioned it at the gym and didn't think it would be a big deal. This man fell apart.
Yeah, I didn't know that he cared so much.
Yeah. He said, I will pay Heather twice as much if you don't go. I will pay her the money.
He doesn't realize I built it to the company.
I know, but he was not happy.
Right. So Corrie and I thought it would be funny. Corrie said, you need to hype up the course more.
This was a thing.
And then, Courtney sent me a message and she said something about skydiving. And I was like, that's a genius idea. So I said, if the course sells out in the first month, Corrie'd we'd go skydiving. And sold out in the first night.
So then I was like, well...
I like the group design the shirt. It should be on its way.
It's ridiculous. No, please do not put that on my funeral.
So, and then we thought it'd be great, skydiving, skydove out of a plane 5 times, and I've yet to pass away prematurely.
I want to go skydiving? No. Have I ever wanted to go skydiving?
I think it'll be good for you to experience that the world exists outside of Netflix.
Will I be married upon my departure of the plane?
So he said right before they went to bed, I do not want to know when, how, what time, how often.
He said, I don't even want to come back to hear how you survived it.
Anyways, it'll be September 26th. If I'm on the podcast by myself the next week,
you know what?
You'll know. That would be crazy. So I think that takes us to an hour, and we've wasted these poor people's time enough. Guys, we will be back on a regular schedule on Tuesday next week. Right?
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. Much love.
Bye.